we've created a checklist.
A dad list, to be precise. Why, you may ask?
For fun, of course. And so we can judge a bunch of famous TV dads throughout time.
It all started with a simple question. What makes a good dad? Who is an example of a good dad? Could someone like Michael Scott be a good dad?
Which leads us to now. We simply cannot rank dads without any criteria. Oh, no. Hence the list. The golden scroll.
Yeah, no, it's just a list. We've taken 15 of your favorite TV dads and ranked them on a special board. Here, why don't you come take a look?
It is time to decide who is the worst dad and who's the best dad. We have a list of all of your fun favorite TV characters. We have someone from Seinfeld, Full House, Family Guy, Schitt's Creek, The 70s Show,
The Simpsons, The OC, Modern Family, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and Game of Thrones.
Then we also have The Bill Cosby Show, King of the Hill, Glee, Gilmore Girls, and One Tree Hill. It's time to debate on who is the best and the worst. Obviously, we have a best dad score sheet, which all of these TV characters are going to be ranked on.
Alright guys, so how this debate is going to work is that we're going to have a 3-tier system going from the best and then the average and absolute the worst dads ever. So let's go over some of the worst dads on TV shows.
Okay, I mean, I can very easily pick out a few.
I think Red Foreman,
Peter Griffin, Frank, Homer Simpson, Dan Scott, absolutely, and he is debatable, which we'll have to talk about, but probably Cliff. So now let's dive into our tier 2 level dads. So just looking at the list, obviously we can pick out, I think Johnny Rose might be a tier 2, Richard, Hank Hill, tier 2, Ned Stark, a tier 2, Phil Dunphy.
this is the fun part. We're moving on to the best dads. First on the list, we have Danny Tanner from Full House.
You know, you're really a great dad. Well, I've got the kids waiting in the car.
Linda, wait,
We have Uncle Phil from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
look at you. You're moving out on your own. You're going to finish college in a year. You're becoming a man. Man, I'm damn proud.
And we have Sandy Cohen from the OC.
Have you given any thought at all to your future? Dude, I'm on your side. Come on, help me out here.
And lastly, Bert Hummel from Glee.
You don't have to work at anything, Kurt. Your job is to be yourself. And my job is to love you, no matter what.
Let's go.
Hey guys, just want to take a quick 10-second break from the video to let us know who we are. I'm Tom, my co-host is Malorie. We're a parent to 3 awesome little kids. Parenting and parenting podcast is actually all we do all day, every day. We've actually even quit both our full-time jobs to pursue this full-time. So anyways, enjoy the video.
Let's basically rank our tier 3s from the best of the worst, if you will, to the worst of the worst.
All right.
So, who do we think is definitely on top of the best section?
I think that Red does not deserve to be the worst dad of this list.
How'd you like to own a little bit of my foot in your ass?
Even though he is absolutely verbally abusive, he is super harsh on his kids, and he's just emotionally unavailable. But can't blame him, right? At least he's a tough dad, he's strong, and he is there for his kids every day. There's that.
You dumbass.
Yeah, you do.
He makes for a good character, and I feel like he's a very relatable dad to people, like, in our generation, for example. Like,
Yeah.
our parents, like my dad, for example, you know, could have done a lot of emotionally abusive things. Like, it's just something that dads in those days did.
Yeah.
And yeah, being in the 70s, like, obviously, things were a lot harsher. And I think he was doing the best he could while trying to instill some good behaviors in his son.
Yes.
Because his son was, again, kind of a dumbass, you know? He kind of had to put him in place. So I agree. I don't think that Red Foreman is the worst of the worst.
No. Hey guys, just one last side note here. I know that today we'll be going over just a fun video, who's actually going to be the worst TV dad or who's the best TV dad. But I kind of want to share a little personal experience with myself. It's actually just a little bit more for that for me. Growing up with half of my life not having a dad, and all those sort of through my teenage years, you're kind of lost throughout life of just what to do as a man, what kind of decisions you should make, and especially now with kids, I have to relearn a lot of being a man. And so these TV figures that we talk about today is that they were more than just a TV dad for me. They were someone who I can look up to, who I don't want to be, and somebody that can teach me the lessons that I wish that I would have been taught. And so yeah, in this episode, we really hope you guys enjoy this. No.
Moving on, Frank Costanza, I think, would be not at the bottom either.
I don't think so.
Even though,
here we go.
even though he's very explosive.
Shirt. Where'd you get that shirt?
What?
That's my Cabana shirt. You stole my shirt, you son of a bitch!
And just unreliable in a lot of situations. He's very angry, grumpy old man. He's like the epitome of a grumpy old man. Mm-hmm. He yells all the time. I think 90% of the time he's in episodes, he's yelling.
Yeah.
So that does a lot for a child. It's very emotionally damaging for
Yeah.
Fine, so he'll go into the interview, he wouldn't know what he's talking about!
We have to.
He himself is emotionally unregulated, for sure.
And you look at George, I mean, George is also very explosive and doesn't know how to regulate a lot of things as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, however, I don't think he's the worst of the worst.
No, at least he's, again, there for George. He tried to give advice when he could. He helps George out with his job, whether it's girls, women,
Yes.
whatever it is.
And again, he takes George in when George doesn't have a job and needs
Exactly.
somewhere to live, right? Like,
Yeah.
they are still there as well as they can be. Okay, so now let's talk about Peter and Homer.
Wife talking about her dream.
Homer, you've got company.
I feel like they're pretty interchangeable.
Yes?
However, I think Homer does a little bit better than
I
Peter.
would say so.
Even they're both disasters, he does a little bit better.
I know. As dumb as a rock that Homer he is, at least he's there for Lisa. I would say he's a really good dad for Lisa, for sure.
Tries to be.
Tries to be.
Yeah.
And one scene I can think of is when Lisa thought that she was going dumber. And so she asked one of the twin sisters, and, why am I going dumber and this and that? And the sister basically goes, it's just a part of the Simpson genes. And so by the end of the episode, Homer actually gathers all the family members together outside the yard. And he shows that, all the guys have the Simpson genes. However, all the women don't have it.
Dad, come look.
Lisa, it's me, Daddy, your father. I rounded up every Simpson in the Tri-City area, so I can prove to you there's nothing wrong with the Simpson genes.
And so he did that for Lisa.
Okay, let's talk about Peter. Again, what's there to say?
Let's go off all the traits, right? He's childish.
Yes.
He's also dumb.
Duh. At. Dot. Buh. Et. Bet.
Bet. I knew that. Slow it down.
Huh.
It.
Pit.
Pit. Come on, pal. It's my first day. At.
Fat.
Oh, that's it, buddy.
Yes.
He gives out bad advice.
Yes.
He is not there for the kids at all in any possible ways.
Yes.
And he has his own self-interest that he probably values over his kids and the whole family.
And he also puts his kids in danger, or his
All
family
the
in
time.
danger a lot.
Lois, get off my back, will you? I'm trying to watch TV.
I swear to God, sometimes I think your head's screwed on backwards. I mean, do you have any idea?
Seriously.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But again, humorous for the show, so.
Exactly. We get it. It's all for the part of the show.
But now let's keep in mind our best dad checklist, right? He meets none of these criteria.
He literally doesn't mean anything. Yep.
Okay. Now, lastly, Dan Scott is the worst of the worst for me, which is saying a lot because of Peter and Homer.
Right.
Either way, Dan Scott is by far the worst of the worst in my eyes.
Right.
Yes. So if you remember our list, right, we've got present and engaged. Dan is absolutely not, unless it's beneficial to him. We've got emotionally supportive. Absolutely not. He only cares about himself.
Enlighten me. Let go.
Leave him alone.
This is a family matter. You'd understand that if you had one. You son of a bitch. My record in this court's a little better than yours, Lucas.
Like, there's so many things on our list. Is he adaptability? Like, not very well. Does he share responsibilities? No. Like, there's so many things on our list.
Does he murder people?
Yes. There's so many things on the list that he just does not meet at all.
Okay.
And again, a lot of it is self-inflicted. There's an epic scene at the end of an episode where Lucas was debating whether he should change his last name from Scott or not. And when he actually got on the basketball team, which Dan did not like, might I add, because Nathan is the star of the show, but Lucas literally did the crazy thing and just removed his last name from his jersey. And it was just like such a chilling moment. Like, it was just like such a powerful statement to Dan to be like, I have nothing to do with you. So I don't know, it was just really cool. But either way, Dan for me is just horrible.
Right.
He's a horrible dad.
Is he a bit of intimidator?
Oh yeah, he tries to be like.
Yeah,
he tries to be the big shot. He tries to be like, don't mess with me, but also like, I'm a nice guy because I'm a salesman, you know, like just things like that. But at the end of the day, like, he is very, very toxic. In so many ways. Okay, so obviously it's clear that we think Red is the best of the worst, right?
Yes.
And then it goes what? Frank Costanza?
Yes.
And then Homer Simpson?
Yes.
We can agree Homer is above Peter.
Yes.
Okay, so that leaves Peter and Dan.
Yeah. Okay, so we are really a big pickle here because now we're debating which one is the worst of the worst.
Right.
Is Peter the worst dad ever? Or is Dan Scott the worst TV dad ever? And, you know, you can take in the fact that, okay, Dan's murdered people, so automatically that makes him the worst. However, Peter's also murdered people, so we can take that equation. They're both murders.
Okay, so now what matters really is reality versus cartoon.
Hey guys, if you also want to check out this dad list and see where your husband or yourself will rank on the greatest dad list of all time, do the test. I did it myself, and the result was quite surprising. All you have to do is click on the link below to get the free PDF and sign up for a newsletter. Anyways, back to the video. Well, and more specifically, the show follows a storyline for many episodes.
Yes.
Family Guy is basically a new episode every episode.
Very true. And One Tree Hill is based off of actual humans and human law and things that actually apply to real people, whereas Family Guy is something that, you know, anything goes, really,
Humorous.
at this point.
Family Guy's
sells for humor.
Family Guy's basically a show that will do whatever to get a laugh.
Yes, exactly.
So even then, so...
And somehow him pushing a child in front of a car in front of Lois's car is considered humorous.
I mean, the things they do in that show just...
Very questionable.
It's very questionable, a lot of things.
Yes.
But if we're actually going with the worst dad in reality, would the award go to Dan Scott being the worst TV dad ever?
I think so. Out of our list, I would have to say 100% Dan Scott is the worst.
Yeah. He checks off many lists of just being the worst.
Yes. Sometimes Peter can be like, you know,
yeah,
like, you know,
true.
the neighbor's Chris,
Yeah.
and like he, you know, he does some things,
True.
I guess.
True. There's many times Peter does nice things.
Yes. Whereas Dan is only out for himself.
Wow. Okay.
99% of the time.
So that would make you a worse dad ever then, if you just do things that just look out for yourself at all times, and you endanger your whole family, and you murder people.
Exactly. And the other fact is that it's all self-inflicted, so I mean,
right.
There is that as well. Like, he is just so toxic, not only to other people, but to himself. Like,
Right.
he can't even be a normal human being on his own. So.
Wow, okay. Sounds good.
Okay, so I guess that sets our bottom third tier,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Red Foreman, Frank Costanza, Homer Simpson, Peter Griffin,
Yep.
Dan Scott.
Hey guys, just taking a break from the video. We want to thank you so much for watching a video of the worst dad ever. There's actually other videos that we make that are very similar to this. If you want to check out, click the link above. And also, if you want to give a like, Comment on who do you think is the worst dad. Give us a comment below and we would love to hear it. Anyways, back to the video.
So now obviously the elephant in the room is Cliff Huxtable. Does his real life legacy impact where he stands on the best dad list?
It's unfortunate because he was such a good dad in the Cosby Show. Like,
he could be one of the top dads.
And that's a
frankly.
fortunate thing. Like, I feel like he could have been a really, really good role model to set for many dads out there, right? Because he was, again, he was warm. He was affectionate. He was there for his kids emotionally and physically. So what more do you want from a dad, you know what I mean? But outside of that...
Can you put his real life legacy aside?
I don't think you can.
I don't know many people that would be able to do so. And for that reason, he could potentially be number 15 at this point.
He could
because
potentially.
of that. So I guess the question is, do we rank him based on just his dad presence on TV alone?
And, you know, to give some context to people who don't know, who's living under a rock, you know, he's been basically drugging women left and right, and many women have come out saying that they've been a victim of that, and he would take advantage of these women when they're drugged. And that's pretty sketchy.
Yeah.
Even if your dad, not that is just sketchy overall.
The other concept of this as well is, I don't know about you, but Friends, for example, so many people see Jennifer Aniston as Rachel. She is just known as Rachel. Again, you gotta ask, can you separate it? And I don't think I can, and I don't know if you can, and I don't know if anyone else can.
Yeah, I can't.
And who's watching the show now anyways to support?
Exactly.
It's in support of this person at this point.
And it's really unfortunate.
It is very unfortunate.
Yeah.
So he could have been a top tier dad. However,
With that,
is
he the worst dad ever now?
Yes.
Wow.
I would say he has to go to
Ladies and
slot number
gentlemen,
15.
there we have it. Bill Cosby, Cliff from The Cosby Show, is the worst dad.
By default, though.
By default.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's do that. Unfortunately, Cliff has been placed in number 15. However, everything TV related, Dan Scott, number 15.
Yes. Okay, yeah, I'll give you the Okay, let's do that.
All right, moving on to tier number 2. Okay, so that being said, now for our tier 3 slot, obviously needing only 5 people, that would actually bump Red Foreman to slot number 9.
Yes. Yeah, he would be tier 2.
He would be a tier 2. Okay, let's move on.
Alright, let's just get this over with. They're just an average dad. I guess you would say they're just a normal dad you see around these days, right? So, how do we rank this list? So we got Phil Dunphy, we got Richard Gilmore, we got Johnny Rose, we got Hank Hill. Lastly, we have Ned Stark as an average dad, which I know many of you will probably be like, what the F are you talking about?
Let's start with Phil.
Smile. Dad, I'm in high school now. Just put it in my mouth. Okay, that's disgusting. Stop it.
Hey, save some of that bossing people around for the office, lady.
I like Phil. I like Phil quite a bit. I think he's a decent dad. I think he is a dad that I feel like most kids will probably want because he's so goofy. He's just trying to connect with you, and will do anything to kind of like be that child version of himself.
Let's put that in Claire's perspective. Now, she has to take care of, it's almost like 4 children, right? So, I mean, at some point, he as a dad has to take that dad role. And is he or isn't he? I don't know. It's debatable because he is so childish. He does want to be that friend to everybody, friend to his kids, which is great. But he also makes a lot of childish decisions too. So then the wife has to come in and kind of clean up things.
When you want to be friends with your kids, I feel like you always kind of want to be that good guy. I feel like he does not want to be the bad guy at all times.
Yes.
And I feel like he really wants to be likable, which I could see his kids taking advantage of him for that.
But appreciative as well from the kid's perspective, right?
Yeah.
But then that does nothing for the wife, the mom. That sucks for her.
Exactly. So the mom's always a bad guy. And, it's just, being a male figure in the family, he needs to sort of be like that disciplinary role.
Yeah, he needs to bridge the gap a little bit.
Yes.
However, not a bad dad.
Not a bad dad.
Not a bad dad. If I had a dad like that, that was really fun. I would love that.
Yeah,
right?
be thrilled.
Yeah. Okay, moving along to Richard Gilmore. He has that very high status, like his job comes first, like his family is just, you know, whatever, they're just kind of there. Again, he's just that average dad that's not very emotionally available for you. Lorelai could easily disappoint him based on her actions, and they obviously did not like what she did by leaving the house when she got pregnant at such a young age. You know what I mean?
And I'm sure he values money over many things in his life.
Yes, his status quo is definitely top priority.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, very interesting. Ooh. Next up we have Johnny the Rose from Schitt's Creek.
What are you wearing? What is that, a nightgown?
It's a nightshirt, David, and that's not the issue. The issue is the brown sludge.
Johnny the Rose.
I don't know.
Okay. So Johnny Rose. Okay. Overall, like as seasons progress, he is really trying, and you gotta admire that about him.
Yeah.
He does care about his family. Like his family
really
is number one. He is really trying to be more involved. So you gotta give him that.
It's true. And I'll give a little context as well, right? He went from a billionaire to basically owning nothing but this town. And he wasn't there for his kids a lot of their life, it sounds like. It really sounds like up until the Schitt's Creek when they were down at the bottom, then he's there for his kids. Now he's trying to make it all up. Now he's trying to be a dad. Now he's trying to correct the ways that he was wrong in the past with his kids.
Right. So that leads to a question. Would he be a good dad had this downfall not occurred?
That's a great question.
Or would he still be very absent?
He probably would still be absent and running his company, doing this and that, doing what the Roses do best.
But you can't let the past define somebody.
It's
so
true.
We're sticking with the current, present.
Yeah.
But there is that as well.
Yeah. I feel like he's definitely a better dad than Richard.
Yes.
Is he a better dad than Phil? I don't know. That's questionable. Again, I feel like his passiveness, his inability to really be stern with his kids, I feel like that could be a huge downfall with them.
Yes.
Again, that Johnny Rose eyebrow, anytime he talks to his kids, it's very questionable, unassertive, just like, he's just very like, it's hard. It's hard to view him as a average dad sometimes as well.
Okay, let's go with Hank Hill next.
I can't even believe he's on the list. He's an average dad, which, in the way the suits of being there as well. But in some sense, it's like, he could be a top tier dad too, because he's like, when you think of like a dad, like that's who you think of, right? Is like Hank Hill, like an old school kind of modern dad. I think Hank has many great characteristics. He is a strong, assertive dad that has his opinions, but when you're outside of those opinions, that's when he is not a good dad.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, in my eyes, I would find Red Foreman and Hank Hill very comparable in the way that they father their children.
I would 100% agree.
So for that reason, I mean, Hank would be almost at the bottom tier 2 list for me.
I would disagree that because at least Hank tries with Bobby. Even though Bobby does not do things that he wants him to do, he at least tries to understand Bobby with many, episodes, and he really tries to be there. For example, when Bobby was doing his bros competitions, like he would really try to be there for Bobby as well. So therefore, I feel like he's a way better dad than Red.
Dad, no! Don't bury my roses! It was my fault, not theirs.
I'm planting them, Bobby.
But I didn't win.
Well, that's okay. The Cowboys don't win every year, but I'm still a big fan. And they have gun and drug problems.
I do agree. I think overall, because of the fact that he really tries with Bobby, I think that does put him above.
Yeah.
But I do think they're very interchangeable almost.
I would say so.
Minus the fact that Hank does go up one tier spot.
Just because he tries.
Just because he tries.
Exactly.
But yeah, overall, I think Hank, like his comments a lot. Like I said, I think he's very emotionally
God dang it, Bobby. Yep.
Exactly, yeah. He says a lot of questionable things.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's only there for his kids, especially when it's something that Hank is very interested in himself.
Right.
So, very selective into when he wants to be a parent.
Yeah, and he puts a lot of pressure on Bobby, right? To do what he likes, and Bobby feels that pressure. So I cannot imagine what's like being his kid. And he's also emotionally unavailable. So, yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Ned. So obviously he is in a very tough spot, and I feel like it's kind of unfair that we're judging him on a lot of these
I know,
aspects
right?
just because of the time that they were actually
Yeah.
in. But if you want to get down just to the list, I mean, there are some downfalls that Ned has.
Mhm.
Can you compare everyday modern life to wars, betrayal, violence? Like, is it comparable? I don't know.
I think ultimately, Ned's greatest downfall is his poor decision making, which led to many of his kids being murdered. And I'm just gonna say it, Ned is probably the worst out of this tier, just for the fact that he got his kids murdered.
This is true. If we're looking at each of these kids, you're right.
Yeah.
He does. However, if you want to look at adversity, out of all of our TV dads, Ned is the one that faces the most adversity.
I would say so.
So that being said, top of the adversity versus like how well he is actually trying. I mean, theoretically, he should be almost top tier #1 dad if you average all those scores.
That's true.
And the fact that he was a good dad as well as he could be, it's very hard to measure at this point.
I know.
Just because of the situations that they're actually in during the times. But you're
Yeah.
right. I think Phil, in today's day, for today's dad, he is a good dad.
He's a good dad.
He's a good dad.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's agree that Phil is #1.
Okay.
Does that mean that Johnny Rose is #2 for tier 2?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe Ned could be #3?
Yeah, Ned, yeah, I would say so.
Or do you
No, I think Hank's #3. Gotta give my guy Hank Hill some props here. Like, he's a good dad. You know, like, from what he grew up with his dad Con, like, he's done fairly well for himself. And so he's, you know, yeah, if we agree on it, I would put Hank as a #3.
Okay, we can agree that Richard would be bottom of the list, right? Did we agree on that already?
I think Richard might be at the bottom then.
Okay, I think Richard's at the bottom. It's just between Hank and Ned.
Yes.
now. I guess, okay, the deciding factor. Hank Hill's kids are alive, okay? Ned's kids are not all alive. So I guess that could be the end result factor. So for that sake, I will say that Hank can be #3 on tier 2 level.
Okay.
Resulting in Ned and then Richard.
Yeah, it's so tough, right? 'Cause
It's very tough.
Ned was so under such tremendous pressure. Like,
But was still also very emotionally.
I know,
tried to be
trying.
emotionally. Like, he
I
didn't
know.
emotionally abuse his kids.
no, he was
So,
there.
like, so that's why I say, for the fact, looking at the kids, Hanks are alive.
Yeah. Okay.
That would be my only end factor.
Okay. All right. So here's our top 2 tier list. It goes from Phil being the best of the average, and then it goes Johnny, and then it goes Hank Hill, Ned Stark, and lastly, the worst of the tier 2 is Richard Gilmore.
All right. And, well, I guess, theoretically, Phil gets bumped up to tier #1.
Right.
Bottom of tier #1.
Okay.
Congratulations, Phil. Okay, let's move on to the best of the best. Tier #1, here we are.
Da, da, da.
Who is going to win
Oh
the
my
best
gosh,
dad
this
of
is
the best?
exciting. Okay, all right.
We have some comparisons here. We've got Danny Tanner and Bert Hummel. They have both lost their wives. They're both raising kids on their own. So let's talk about that. Both of them had dealt with quite the adversities, I would say.
Yes.
Right? The loss, they're widowers, right?
Yes.
I guess my next comment about Bert is he also had the adversity of a gay son.
Raising a gay son was probably seen as a very much like, it's like, ugh.
Taboo thing, yeah.
Let's not talk about it. Let's just like leave it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which
so.
he could have been a dad like that, right? He could have disowned his son, which he did not.
No.
And he was very adaptable in the fact that he had to learn the ropes of these situations. I mean, I can think of an example right away is when he found out, and then he's like with sleepovers with boys, and it was just like he didn't know how to handle it, but he tried his best to handle it because he had to adapt and be like, okay, like same rules as if it was a girl, like you can't have sleepovers with men, you know, like it's just one of those things, and just very awkward situations that he's constantly adapting to, and I think he does, you know, the best he can.
Yeah.
He does well.
And I think it kind of helps that he knew, right? Because he kind of mentioned he knew that Kurt was gay since he was 3, right?
Yeah.
And so he's been prepping kind of this moment for throughout his life. Yeah. And I think it was a powerful moment, you know, it was a powerful moment when he did find out. And that he was so supportive, you know, and he was just like, I'm going to be there for you. Like, I'm not going to leave you. And very, very touchy scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then also, you know, he deals with other things like his heart attack and things like that. Like, I just feel like he's really had to adapt on his own without anybody to help him and be by his side. And I think that makes him a reason as to why he's in a tier 1 level right now.
And when Finn kind of like called Kurt the F word, you know, the big F word, and he really, really stood up for him.
Yeah, and that was quite a powerful speech as well. So, all of that to say, Danny Tanner has also dealt with adversity of being a widower.
Yes.
However, difference is he has 3 young children.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that point, he has to bring in some of his family members to help raise his kids.
Co-parenting.
So, Danny, you know, at the end of the day, was a very supportive. He was very emotionally available. He was very present with his girls. Like, he tried his best to be there. Now, some downfalls is obviously he had crazy OCD and like had a lot of that.
Yeah, hey.
He was a little controlling at times.
Some say he's overbearing.
Overbearing. And I mean, how can he not be though?
I know.
Like, and that's the tough thing.
Can't.
Like, can you fault him for that given the situation that he has dealt with?
Yeah. And I feel like he was very ahead of his times too when it comes to being a dad, because back in those days, being an emotionally available dad is not really like a big thing, you know?
Yeah.
But he had to adapt to that, and I feel like that's very admirable.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those two are very comparable. Let's go to Uncle Phil and Sandy Cohen.
Oh man, I mean, when you talk about great dads, like Uncle Phil is just like easy on top of the list when it comes to, you know, many people's minds. From, you know, the childhood that he grew up in, to being a big time judge in, you know, in Bel Air, and to adopting Will, and to raising 3 decent kids. I mean, Hillary was questionable, I would say. Shopaholic, you know, a bit of shallow. But, you know, I feel like he is just like a definition of like a strong, assertive dad who's just trying to raise damn good kids.
Right. And I mean, he dealt with a lot of adversities as well, whether it was like racism or, you know, he had to really stay humble with the money that he has accumulated. And like, there's lots of things that he had to face, which he does very like stoically, I would say.
Yeah.
You know?
But, you know, he also uses his power to get his kids out of trouble. Like when Carlton and Will went to prison, he had to kind of use his power to break them out. Right. So I don't know if what does that teach them?
Yeah.
Right?
Right. And he also is considered probably like more of a authoritarian type dad.
Yeah.
So is that always the best as well? I don't know.
I don't know. I can see him being a dad with a very big ego as well.
Right.
You know, just because he came from nothing, and the fact that he's, you know, he's a colored individual, so it's like, you know, he's amongst few colored people in the high top end world back in the day too.
Yeah, and I mean, there was a lot of things that he had to deal with that because he is black, right?
Yes.
Like, there's a lot of, even as a judge, even though he was high status, he still faced that stuff as well, which I think he, at the end of the day, did a good job with.
Yeah, but you know what? He was like a dad figure to Will.
Yeah, which is also very important.
Right, and then one of the scenes that we can't forget is when Will's real father came in and he was going to hang out with them and just end up ditching him. You know, and Will gave a powerful speech. And, you know, Phil was there. Phil was there to hug him. Phil was there to make sure that he was okay. And not like, I'm here for you. Even though he's not there for you, I'm going to be here for you.
So 5 years old, you know? Ain't like I'm going to be sitting up every night asking my mom, when's daddy coming home, you know? Who needs him? Hey, he wasn't there to teach me how to shoot my first basket, but I learned, didn't I? Hey, I got pretty damn good at it too, didn't I, Uncle Phil? Got through my first day without him, right? I learned how to drive. I learned how to shave. I learned how to fight without him. I had 14 great birthdays without him. He never even sent me a damn card. To hell with him!
So with that as well, Sandy Cohen also took in a troubled teenager, and throughout the season, obviously adopts Ryan, right?
Ryan was in jail.
Yes.
And Sandy was his representative, right? To kind of like fight for him, to get him out, to plead his case.
Yeah, he's a public defender.
So Ryan was a troubled individual who came from a troubled family.
Yes, a very troubled family.
Very high risk, just like Will.
Yes. So, I mean, yeah, it's a huge risk, especially since Sandy comes with a family of money, right? Again, same with Phil, right? But they're bringing in a convict into their home, and obviously Kirsten does not approve of this, and so it becomes like a little bit of some tension with that. But at the end of the day, like, they just want Ryan to feel like part of the family, and they're really thriving and making sure that he's doing well and working on his growth throughout the seasons, you know, and that's really admirable of somebody to do.
Yeah.
Taking him in, and obviously, like, Seth just loves Ryan, and it's just like this whole thing, right? But they're always worried that Ryan's going to get Seth into trouble, and deals with a lot of things with that, like the money clash, because he obviously came from not so much money, married into it, and then his job kind of conflicts with like the Newport group, and the way that they're handling a lot of things are pretty sketchy as well, that Sandy has to deal with. His wife becomes an alcoholic. Like, he just handles life very well, considering the situations that he's put in. And he always tries to do the right thing. He gives great advice to his kids. They're always calling Sandy, no matter who it is. Like, his friends, Seth, Ryan, like, they're always calling Sandy because they trust him, right? And that is huge, that you can consider your dad to be someone to call, no matter what the situation. And I think that is huge, especially when it comes to our ranking system. He's a great role model. He's patient and understanding. Like, he's consistent, reliable. Like, he just hits a lot of those criteria.
Yeah, you know, I have to give you that. I think he's a great decision maker, and I feel like he gives great advice. And, you know, and so did Uncle Phil.
Yes.
So, they're very comparable.
Very comparable.
Yeah.
But, okay, so we have some great tier 1 candidates.
Yes.
So, what's it come down to?
I think, should we just start at the bottom of the list, work our way up?
Okay, let's do it.
Who deserves to be the bottom of the tier 1?
I feel like Danny Tanner has to be at the bottom for me.
What? Are you crazy?
Strictly for the fact that, yes, he had to deal with the loss of his wife and has to raise these kids. However, he has great family support and a lot of other adversities. There really aren't any. He just deals with, like, everyday, like, minor things that come and go. I think other people on the list have a little bit higher rankings.
But he's so good at his kids. You know, he's attentive and he's there.
But so are the other ones. I think what leads me to put him down is literally the fact that he's just got everyday struggles moving forward.
Okay. You know what? I have to give you that as well. I agree with that.
Because the other people on our list have had worse situations.
Yes, many adversities. Which we all know adversity leads to just a better person.
Yeah, a lot of growth.
Yes, a lot of growth. Okay, all right. Number 3.
Number 3. Oh, this is tough.
I think Bert deserves number 3.
You're number 3?
Yeah.
Oh, hurts me.
Yes.
Hurts me in the feels.
Yeah, I know. I think that, you know, and again, he's had to deal with a lot of adversity. He's got death of his wife. He's got, you know, a gay son. And I just think that as a role model, there are 2 other people on that list right now that is a better dad than he is.
Yeah, I just don't know if I can agree with you. I just don't know. Just strictly for the fact that, as we talked about, a gay son, that's super taboo, especially during the time of the show. And the fact that he overcame that, and the fact you can tell that he struggles with the fact that he has a gay son, right? That is very clear throughout the series. And he is just always putting his viewpoints aside and being there for his son. He could have easily dropped his son and be like, listen, I'm out. Like, this is not what I believe in, whatever. But he stuck through it. And he stuck through with people, like, being verbally abusive towards Kurt versus, like, towards himself. Like, there's so many things every day that these people had to deal with that I don't know if I can just default him to number 3. A great example of what Bert has to put aside is, I can think of the one episode where Kurt wants to join the football team and be in a tutu. And Bert was like, hell no, like, you are not doing this. But being the dad that he is, he had to, like, overcome that and just let, like, Kurt was really passionate about doing this, and he just had to let him, you know, like, putting all of his thoughts aside, he let his son do something that, whether he had agreed with it or not, you know, like, he was very much in support of Kurt. Even, like, when he was dealing with homophobia in church and things like that, like, Bert was always there to stand up for his son, whether he actually believed in it or not. Do you know what I mean? Like, that takes a strong
I know.
individual. That takes a strong father figure, especially, like, I feel like a mom would have an easier time with something like this versus a dad. But I don't know, that speaks a lot to his character.
It's true. And honestly, Uncle Phil, like, the kids got in a lot of trouble, but I think the overall big thing that I just love about Uncle Phil is just that he's just a great mentor of life. You know, he obviously know that he's been through a lot in his life, and anytime the kids get in trouble or need advice, there's been many moments of the show where I'm just like, damn, like, that is just, that's a dad, you know? And so, yeah, and I think about myself, like, if Uncle Phil had the same situation as Bert, would he deal with it as well? That, I don't know. I think, like you said, it takes a special individual to do what Bert did.
And I think because Uncle Phil is old school and traditional, I don't know if he could put his own emotions aside and be there for his kids.
Yeah, you're right.
Whereas Bert is very, like, putting all that aside. He gives great life lessons. He's very valuable. He listens. He's very much adaptable.
Yes, he is
Could
adaptable.
Uncle Phil be adaptable, or is he adapting his kids to his needs?
And that's very much Uncle Phil. You know, he's got his vision of what his kids could be and would be, and if you don't fall into that, then you're a disappointment to him for sure.
Yeah. So therefore, I don't know if I can agree.
So that means moving Uncle Phil to number 3 then.
In my mind, yes.
As hard as it is, I think I might agree with you, just because of what Bert had to do and who he is becoming as a dad.
Yes. I think there's a lot of growth with Bert.
A lot of growth.
And he adapts well and does it with dignity, I would say.
Yes, Uncle Phil's very much the same character throughout the entire seasons.
Right.
Okay.
So, that leads us to fighting off between Sandy and Bert Hummel. Let's go back to our dad checklist.
Okay.
They're both, you know, I mean, protective. Sure, Bert is very protective. Because he has to be. Sandy is very protective of Seth, especially because Seth is more fragile and he's, you know, not as strong-natured as Ryan is.
Grew up in a cushy life, you know.
A very cushy life. They're both very present and engaged, mostly emotionally supportive. They're both adaptable. They're both willing to teach and learn, you know. It's not just their way or the highway.
So what does it come down to then?
What does it come down to?
What does it come down to? Like, how, when you have such good dads, what is the one thing that separates them?
I know for me personally, the thing that I can separate is the work.
Oh, really? It comes down to work now?
It comes down to work at this point for me. They're both really, really good dads in their own way.
Yeah.
I think that, I mean, Sandy had a lot of adversities that he had to deal with as well with the kids. So did Bert. So it's just hard to compare at that rate. However, what comes down to it for me is literally Sandy is a lawyer, requires a lot more dedication for a career. That is the end result for me. Bert is, you know, obviously he makes enough money for his kid, blah, 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 blah. He is way more available than Sandy could be at times, which led Kirsten to deal with a lot of Seth and Ryan drama sometimes because Sandy was working. So I would say Sandy worked a little bit more than Bert, which leads me to say that I think Bert comes before Sandy.
Wow. And you know what? You know more about these shows than me. And I loved how detailed you got into the deciding factor of that. And as a dad, you know, I would say there's nothing more important to your kids than the time that you spend with them. You can make all the money in the world, you can do this and that, you could do philanthropies, and you can save this, save that, but if you're not there for your kids for the quality time, it's a huge deciding factor. Yeah.
And again, it's really, really tough. Like, that's literally what it has to come down to, is who works more than the other.
Yeah, and you know that lawyer life, right? Like,
I do.
Little backstory, you know, like, you know about the lawyer life.
And there was a lot of struggles with Sandy's work, right? Because he was a public defender, then he went into private practice, and he did his own firm for a bit and stuff. So, like, there was a lot of that, and he definitely was he was still very, very present for his kids.
Yes.
But.
Not
as present as what Bert could be.
Yes.
So.
And you know, Bert was a mechanic, right? Like, he didn't own franchise.
Not just that. Don't downplay mechanic.
But you know, he wasn't like the head CEO of a huge mechanic like franchise or whatever, you know. So 9 to 5.
Yeah.
He's did that for sure. 9 to 5.
Yeah, did a nice 9 to 5 job, which, you know, could be seen as a good thing and a bad thing, right? Could potentially you have a lower class, mediocre life when it comes to money, but in turn, a child doesn't care about money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So.
And
Not
you
to
know
say
what?
that Sandy cared about money either, and that's why it's tough, right? Because Sandy married into money.
Right. He didn't have to worry about the finance either. And you know the other thing we didn't really mention about is that Bert had to fight for his son's rights. You know? Mm-hmm. Like he had to do a lot of that.
Yes.
Like constant, you know? And
that's what I mean.
Sandy, like he didn't have to just like, you know, be okay with the gay son, but he also had to like fight for his rights because he's the adult, every day. So it's just like, man,
that's a lot of prejudice to overcome.
To overcome.
Yeah, and that's why I think Bert Hummel deserves slot number 1 for the best dad list.
Yay! Damn, and I think I have to agree with that. Mm-hmm. So, there you have it.